Aliens. Aliens. What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here, finally giving you my spoiler review for Army of the Dead. Sadly, I didn't get to watch it again, and well, obviously, it's just recording this Thursday evening, so when it come tomorrow, we'll be able to watch it again, and I'm definitely going to be doing that. Can't wait to watch it again. But, you know, didn't get a chance to watch it again, but I think I got everything I want to talk about when it comes to the spoiler review. You know, obviously you guys watched my regular review and you guys know I loved it. And yeah, so I just kind of wanted to talk about certain things when it comes to Army of the Dead. And yes, I think one of the main things is this all alien based? And I think that's where it's actually going to be headed when it comes to this franchise. I mean, even in the opening, somebody spotted some lights, and I didn't see but see, the second time around I would be looking for I'd be looking for that. Trust me, when it comes to the next time I watch this, I'm gonna be looking for all kinds of Easter eggs. Like I was kind of doing that when I first saw it, but I wanted to pay attention to the story and take in the whole story. I mean, obviously there was one huge blatant Easter egg that had to do with Larry Fong the Magnificent or whatever. It just showed Larry Fong on a billboard, and he's a magician, you know, and that was so great. I mean, I started cracking up. I'm sure you guys did too, because it was an Easter egg that was not hiding. It was in plain sight. I was the only one in the movie theater laughing. I'm sure when it came to you guys, the same thing. When you saw that Larry Fong Easter egg, it was great. But yeah, I didn't really catch the UFOs thing. But I know, like in the beginning, the two soldiers were talking. I mean, they're kind of, yeah, it's a little expositional, a little bit. But, you know, you got to have that when they talk about Area 51 and all that stuff. And then, of course, you got the bride and the groom. And it's all started with a blowjob, some roadhead. But I was trying to be as sophisticated and classy as possible when I was talking to Chelsea Edmondson, who was the bride. And I said, well, you know, I forgot what she called it. She called it, but it was pretty funny. If you guys haven't checked that out, that was last Friday's vodka stream. I had her on talking about that. So it's good stuff. But then, yeah, so obviously the breakout happens. The opening sequence is great. And then you kind of get a sense of, okay, so Dave Bautista's character, Scott, of course, has dealt with this. So is his daughter. And then all of a sudden, of course, you got the, you know, her mom and, you know, that little family. And, you know, that she got bit. That's part of the reason why that I called her Ello. That's her real name. But Kate and Scott, not really talking. Kate's like trying to help people when it comes to the border around the wall that's around Vegas, which is interesting. So she's like part of that. There's like a little camp around that. And just trying to do all that, which is cool. So then when what's his name? Sorry, I got the list of people right here. Where's he at? Yeah, Michael Cassidy, guy, of course, who played Jimmy Olsen in BVS. Basically, if you see Michael Cassidy in the beginning of a Zack Snyder film, he's probably not going to make it, and of course, he does not because they get bit by Zeus. But then it kind of makes you wonder, like, where are they? You know, where are those two soldiers that got bit by Zeus? Because according to what's happening, when Zeus bites somebody, they also become an alpha. So interesting, because, you know, you got the different kind of zombies here, which is really awesome. But then you got Mr. Sonata, who's playing Bly Tanaka, who of course approaches Scott with, hey, we got some money in this vault. Please, let's do this. Get your team together and, you know, become like a little Suicide Squad, which it pretty much is, because we all know that everybody dies. Everybody dies except for Kate, you know, obviously. And we'll get to that part, of course, when we get the whole team gets together. And I love the fact that it's like 15 million and all gets broken down into little chunks for everyone. You kind of don't really hear that part. I mean, I guess you kind of do with some heist movies, but it's just sometimes it's like, hey, we just split it this many ways. But they were just like, okay, how about 250 or 500,000 for this, for that, for this? You know, hey, Dieter, even though you're breaking into the vault, we're only going to give you 250 or whatever the fuck. But yeah, it's all pretty crazy. And then when they finally get to that point, I mean, obviously when we meet the coyote or Lily, who, if you don't fall in love with her, oh man, hard not to. hard not to fall. Well, I don't know. I mean, you got Sam Wynn's character Chambers, which she has her moment before she gets off. Sadly, she's like one of the first ones. Even though I would say Bert Cummings, Mr. Theo Rossi, he's a dick, obviously, and he's done some really bad things. And Lily goes, "Well, I know what to do." Shoots him in. I don't know if I forgot. Shoots him in the leg or something like that. As a hey, offering it to Zeus and the queen and his queen, like, hey, this is for you. You take that, so then you leave us alone for a little bit, right? But of course, it's not going to happen. And then that whole scene when they get in there and there's literally like just dead bodies everywhere. And I remember, I think it was Steven or somebody that talked about that, how, when it starts raining, obviously they're dried up, but it starts raining. And then she explains all that they're not like dead, but they're just, they're kind of hibernating. Creepy, very creepy. So, all right. So some of the other spoilery stuff, I guess you could say, is the way that everybody dies. I mean, like everybody dies. I mean, I think when it came to Maria, her dying, that lit up the theater when she was just, obviously there's something going on with her and Scott when they're in the, the safe and everything, when they're basically they're going to get fucked over by Martin, who of course is the right-hand man to Bly. And basically when I remember talking about this on my regular review, I was like, oh yeah, the little trope that, inspired by Aliens, 100% that, because, they're there to get a specimen to do something, and that's exactly what, Bert, is his name? Yeah, Bert. Exactly what Bert does, Paul Reiser's character in Aliens does. He tries to fuck over people, basically get them killed to get in, to get the face hugger on and get something, so then you could freeze the bodies and take it back, so then they can get worked on and utilized for their own good, probably, of course, used as a weapon. So it was kind of like that. And then, of course, when we talk, going back to Chambers and Sam Wynn's character, man, did we all think that she was going to make it? At first, I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. No, you're not killing her. And then all of a sudden, she goes crashing through that window and she starts doing some John Wick shit. I was going, she's going to make it. She's going to make it. And then, womp, doesn't make it, sadly. So, I mean, what can you do? So, you got that. And when Maria died, she got her whole fucking neck and you just see it pop out of her neck. Oh, the gore, man. The gore, you got to love it. And, I even shot too where the doors smash that one zombie and then it splits open. He just, oh my God, talking about the gore is just so good. And then of course, you got Van der Rohe, I think that's how you say, Omri Hardwick's character, and Dieter. I wanted to see a spinoff of those guys. I mean, obviously, we're going to get more Dieter when it comes to the prequel, which is great. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Van der Rohe because obviously he's the one that kind of survived. But he got bit. But one thing that was brought, when you actually look at it, I mean, it didn't really, I mean, it broke skin, but not like a clean chunk came out and he didn't change right away. I mean, obviously at the end, when he's on the plane, when he trucks, I mean, you knew he was going to survive. As soon as when Dieter was going to shut the door of the safe, I mean, it was like, oh, that's awesome. He's saving his buddy, the new friendship. I love it. But I was like, okay, he's going to survive because it's underground and those things are built like, obviously like a fortress. So, and then of course he pops up at the end. And I guess that's pretty much what David Bautista was talking about. Dave Bautista, because remember at Justice Con, he was talking about the end. And who shows, I thought he said something about who shows up. So I was a little like, wait, somebody was supposed to show up. I thought, what the hell happened? I mean, I was like trying to figure that out, but I think he just meant what happened with Hardwick's character. So, it's pretty interesting. But other things too to mention is like that you don't want to mention in a regular review is, I mean, when it comes to Zeus, the head zombie, of course, I mean, he's got a cape and he's also got this headpiece. So he's smart enough to know that, obviously get shot in the head, zombies, you're full on die. So he's got this whole like piece that just reflects bullets. So you kind of go, okay, how did he learn that part? That's interesting. And then, of course, when it came to his bride who got her head cut off, that, of course, Martin was going to take back, but then Lily did the whole switcheroo with a little money counter thing. And that was great. And then he gets his own. He gets fucked up by the zombie tiger, which is great. Great scene right there. But obviously when she dies and she has a baby inside, so now it's like, okay, now we know that these zombies can reproduce. And he pulls out the baby. And another zombie baby in a Zack Snyder zombie movie. But of course, this one's way more, and it's blue. It's blue. Okay. So you got that portion. There's like blue stuff, and that just kind of indicates that, yeah, alien stuff. There's got to be alien stuff. And then there's some zombies too. When you're seeing like that crazy action sequences, you're seeing some getting blown in the head, their eyes light up. Robots. What the fuck's that about? I mean, that's one of those things where you kind of go, why were the eyes lit up? How, what? So something else we're going to be finding out about, hopefully, obviously, is the fact that there were zombie robots. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So, yeah. And then one of the questions, and we're going to probably have a full-on discussion about this, about full-on spoiler discussion on the Vodka stream this Friday, because we were kind of doing that, but we didn't want to like get too spoilery. So, is the fact that, okay, so Scott at the very end, which is a great sequence where, Lily was like, I'll blow her head off again or something like that. She said something funny, and then she gets like a little javelin thing to the arm and gets stuck on the wall. And then of course she gets off and they get away. So you're thinking, okay. And I hate the fact that, the fact that, Kate had to go find, what's her name? Like Gita. Yeah. Who was around there. And it's like, oh, it's that little subplot of her trying to rescue her. And it's kind of like, man, you just kind of fucked more. but anyways, I'm just saying, like, sometimes like, why does that? There's always that character. It's just like, and she ended up dying anyways in the the helicopter crash. So did Tig Notaro's character. You thought she might have survived, but they got out just in time before the bomb went off. And but then of course, right before that, Zeus, bit a chunk of Scott out, and so then when they're on the ground, she has to kill her dad because he starts changing, shoots him in the head, but it makes you wonder, what are they going to do with that body? And maybe, I don't know, something interesting is going to be happening with that, because helicopter's landing, and I think there's going to be something, they're going to do something with Scott's body. That is my guess right there. I don't know. We'll see what happens though, but yeah. And then, Vander Roe was Roe. I like I said, I need to watch it again to get the name again, but you know how bad I am with names. But him going to Mexico City, what's going to happen with him? Is there going to be? It's going to be interesting because, like I said, he didn't change right away. And then all of a sudden he goes into the bathroom, and then you see the bite mark, but it looked like it didn't full on, like, it didn't take a clean chunk, and he didn't turn right away. I don't know what the whole deal with that is, but that's going to be interesting to see. Where there's a lot of things that are open, what's going on with these zombies that have these glowing eyes that look like robots, the UFOs that we kind of see, I guess you could say, and the Area 51, talking about Area 51, when it comes to what happens to Scott's body. I mean, there's a lot of things right here. And do we actually see Dieter die? I mean, we just assume that he does, right? I mean, he probably did. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But anyways, and then there's like a little part when they're in the safe where you see other bodies, and Vander Roe, he like talks about how, we're like in a time loop. Look, that's you, that's him. That it kind of throws you off. But just that little scene right there, they kind of fucked with me, because it was kind of going, well, because there's been other crews that have showed up before or something like that. And I don't know if it's just like a misdirection thing that they're like, yeah, let's just throw that in there and throw people off. Or maybe that's going to talk. I mean, I doubt it. It's probably just a misdirection thing, because the way he was even talking about it, the way he was talking to Dieter about it, made it sound like that. So I don't know, just a lot of some questions in there. We'll talk about it more on the Vodka stream on Friday. Anyways, guys, all right, so there you go. Spoiler review right there. Obviously, like I said, I love the movie. Can't wait to watch it again, and definitely will when it shows up on Netflix. And hopefully you guys do too. Like I said, most likely we're going to be doing like a full-on discussion tomorrow night on the Vodka stream. So make sure you watch it so you could tune in. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know your thoughts about all of this down below. Hit that like, thumbs up. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm doing this stuff. If you want to become a member, hit the join button. I'm doing members-only videos and streams. So it's a lot of fun where I, give a little more tea when it comes to those. And then, of course, the Patreon. If you want to see stuff I'm working on and be part of the Patreon streams, that'd be we appreciate that too. And then, of course, the Film Junkie Closet down below. All right, guys,